Welcome to The Terrible Take, a daily segment telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Bryan. New Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Omar Khan was interviewed on the Jerry Hughes podcast a few days ago, and that turned out to be quite the question and answer session. At one point during the interview, Hughes asked Khan, "So, when you talk about building the offense, you talk about the quarterback. What are the other important positions from your standpoint that you've got to make sure you've got really good players in?" Khan answered, "Without divulging too much of my philosophy, I'd say you always want to get the guys that protect the quarterback and get the guys that get to the quarterback." Does that answer sound familiar? Well, it should, because former NFL head coach Bill Parcells used to live by that philosophy as well. So, what does Khan's answer have to do with anything at this point of the offseason? Well, not too much when it comes to 2022, as the draft is already behind us now. This year's Steelers draft, while it did include the team taking a quarterback in the first round, it didn't include the team drafting an offensive lineman or an edge rusher. So, with no offensive lineman or edge rusher drafted this year, you can virtually guarantee both positions will be addressed at some point during the 2023 NFL draft, and likely in the earlier rounds at that. The Steelers' last edge rusher to be drafted in the first round was TJ Watt, and that pick obviously turned out to be a huge boom. That said, the only other edge rushers drafted in the first round since 2000 were Bud Dupree and Jarvis Jones, with the latter being a huge bust. Depending on what kind of season Alex Highsmith has in 2022, the Steelers might seriously consider drafting another edge in the first round in 2023. Even if Highsmith has a nice 2022 season, the Steelers could still stand to pick an edge rusher early in the 2023 draft. So, what about offensive linemen in the first round, and specifically tackles? Well, I shouldn't need to remind you that the Steelers never drafted a tackle in the first round while Kevin Colbert was the team's general manager. In fact, it's now been more than 25 years since the Steelers drafted a tackle in the first round. It's been 10 years since they have even drafted a tackle in the second round. Obviously, we have quite a while to wait before we start talking extensively about what the Steelers' 2023 draft needs will be and which positions they might address early. That said, put me down for the Steelers to take either an edge rusher or tackle in the first round of the 2023 draft and for them to address both positions with two of their first three picks. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Tuesday and Friday for the remainder of the offseason.